Good afternoon, everyone. Me and my colleague Hadir Al-Mehri will present today the VOT in Al-Mehri dialect. We will talk about the scope, voice once a time, background of Al-Mehri dialect, literature review, methodology, result and discussion, and conclusion. This study aims to examine and compare the influence of Al-Mehri voiced and voiceless constants, and the start of voice time. Age, gender, speaking rate, lung volume, and visual speaking style are all factors that affect VOT. This topic is critical for understanding the Almehri dialect's characteristic and phenomena. Voiceless letters that has been used are K and T, and voiced letters are G and P. What is VOT? Voiced once time is characteristic of stop constants that is widely used in phonetic research and plays a large role in perpetual discrimination in many languages. Is the duration of the period of time between the release of a positive and the beginning of vocal vibration. When VOT measurements are taken, there are three values are possible: zero VOT, negative VOT, or positive VOT. When the onset of vocal fold vibration coincides with the pulsive release, the VOT is zero. When the onset of vocal vibration after the pulsive release is delayed, this is known as a negative zero. It is found to be positive when the onset of vocal fold vibration precedes the pulsive release. Who are Al-Mehri people and dialect? They are designated from Mahra bin Mahaydan bin Amr bin Al-Hafi, Qada' bin Malik bin Amr bin Mura' bin Zayed bin Malik bin Hayma. The Al-Mehri was an independent country in 7th century, and it became weaker and got divided between Oman and Yemen, where the native Mehri immigrated to other countries. Mehri speakers number about 115,200 according to ethnology. Furthermore, according to Saudi officials, there are about 20,000 Mehri speakers in Saudi Arabia, with 50,000 living in Yemen, and 50,800 in Oman, and 14,400 in Kuwait. Yemeni Mehri, also known Southern Mehri, and Omani Mehri are the two major dialects of Al-Mehri today, also known as Al-Bufari Mehri and Najd Mehri. Omani Mehri is spoken by a smaller population and has a little difference within it, while Yemeni Mehri is divided into two dialects, Western and Eastern, along with Jibali, also called Sahari, Sihri, or Sihrat. Mehri is one of the 6 so-called modern South Arabian MSA languages. The linguistic domain of the other 5 MSA languages is limited to Eastern, Yemen Western, Oman. And the Shaqara al-Anait, formerly Khoriya Island Group, Mehri is the one most widely spoken MSA language, al-Murayya. Mehri has the largest number of speakers and is spoken in the largest geographic region. Now my colleague Hadid talk about the Al-Mehri writing system.
Writing system. It is a spoken language. The Al-Mehri dialect, it's a spoken language that has been passed down over the generations with hardly any written learning offered in education. Mainly, majority of native speakers may use Arabic characters to write their language. However, because there is no standardization system of transcription, speakers may differ in how they represent the Al-Mehri vowels or consonant, as well as certain sound of not presented in Arabic. For example, some choose to represent the literal fractive sha with Arabic sha or with Arabic sa. As an example, a word called is shkhof, which means milk. They either type it as shkhof or shkhof. So now for the lexical variation, we have put two dialects, which are Al-Mehri and Al-Hosni, as an example of Al-Emirati dialect. So the words that are typed, it's khilfet, which means window. It's called in the other dialect Dirisha. Bub, which means door. It's called bab, which is a slight difference with the vowels. And lastly, with hmu, which means water, they call it mai. So the research questions. Does VOT affected by genders? Does VOT affected by age? Are there differences between gender and age significant? How is almahri dialect differs? So those are the questions that we are put it in as a start in our study. So now, Waad will talk about the literature review.
These analyses contribute to our research by demonstrating statically that there is a gender difference in VOT, implying a connection between gender and VOT, but it may vary between different languages. Smith in 1982 reported that longer values in adult male. Other studies reported by Whiteside and colleagues found longer VOT value in adult female. Sweeting and Bacon in 1982 did not find any difference in VOT production between adults male and female. In Abha's study, it was found that the female adults produced longer lead voicing for the voice stops compared to male adults, whereas male adults produced longer voiceless stop. The pattern of variability in VOT continuously decreased as a function of age until 16 years old. Children achieved adult-like VOT at age 10 and 12 years old. Now
So next is the methodology. So in our study, we constructed together quantitative data from our targeted sample to determine whether VOT is influenced by gender and age, and whether people speaking the same dialect have the same VOT. So we conducted our study with 6 native speakers, 3 males and 3 females, where they are from different age groups. First is 10 to 19 age group, then 20 to 21 years old group, lastly is 40 to 49 years old, in which the participants have no speech impediments and can hear and talk clearly. However, the selected subjects were from the same family due to the COVID-19 pandemic situation. Then we have the consonant and words. We have splitted the consonant that we have used in our study to voiceless and voiced. First, we have the dorsal, laminal, and the other dorsal, which is ga, and the labial. For the voiceless, we have the ka and the ta. The words are kiket, kolb, kabi, and then for the t, it's tame, tomer, tabor, which they mean, the kiket means a minute, kolb means to flip, kabi means a heart, tame means you, tomer means a date, tabor to pass by. So for the other 6 words, which are from the voiced consonants, we have Geet, which means the boy, Goser, which means brave, Gar, which means fall down, and then for the label, for B consonant, we have the Baser, which is the fresh dates, Bub, which means the door, Barone means I will be going out. Now we have the procedure. First we're gonna use Pratt software recorder, and then we're gonna record the participant voices. After that, we're gonna analyze the recording and constructed the VOT measurement from the spectrogram diagram. Lastly, we use the Microsoft Excel to turn the data into a graph to collect data, analyze resources, and other case study. So next we have the result and discussion. We can see here the 2 tables that represent the data that we have collected for the participant of age above 40. As it's shown in the figures above, the bar graph illustrates the numbers and distribution upon the age and gender differences in the first graph for those who are above 40, male and female, with the voiceless and voiced consonant. It shows that the VOT value for letters ka and ta male is higher than female, whereas when we compare the voiced letters such as gi and ba, the bar graph displays that the female's voiced value are higher than males in the age group of 40 years old. But we can see that the differences in value between males and female voiced and voiceless VOT are not that significant, and they are mainly average. So next we have the 20-year-old age group, which have all data implemented. But whereas in those age group, it is obvious that the difference in values are high. We can see that in the voiced bar here as shown. It shows that the female has a higher negative numbers than males, meaning that high values of VOT measures of voiced consonant is greater than other. But the data in this age group, which is the age group of 10 years old, it shows that the data in this age group is a slight difference between the previous 20 and 40 males, considering the male, where the male had a lower voiceless measures than the female, whereas in the previous slides, the male had a higher measures. As it shows in the paragraph above, the voiceless figure illustrates that the VOT vowel for female are higher than male. Moreover, in the voiced bar graph, it shows that the female has a higher negative numbers than males as others. So, in conclusion, since the new generation are mainly focusing on the international languages that distract them from their mother language or dialect, causing the weakness in the dialect since they are not speaking it fully. For instance, my younger siblings are not speaking almahri accurately, even us were not speaking as good as our ancestors. That would result in the dialect to be vanished in future, unfortunately, if we didn't keep on making it better and learning it to our future generations. However, these previous analyses contribute our research by demonstrating statistically that there is a gender difference in VOT. Our findings were consistent with Abha dialect analysis study, which found that female adults developed longer lead voicing for voice stops than male adults. On the other hand, male adults had a longer short lag for the voiceless emphatic pause. We discovered that there was no significant difference in VOT measurement between age, which supports the findings of previous study, which found that the trend of variability in VOT declined as a function of age until 16 years old, meaning that the adults are mainly having average measures. And there was also no big variation in VOT measurement between ages. This findings requires further investigation in a large group of children and adults of both gender across a wide range of age, but with particular emphasis on the age range from 8 to 10 to 11 years old. And thank you for listening. Stop sharing.